Hi everyone, it's Houmi and Vanessa
Hi.
with another lunch with Vanessa and Houmi. And Vanessa is going to tell you what we're going to
So
talk
today
about.
we're going to talk about ways to explain what you have done and what you can do. This is sounds really simple, but it's actually not. So we're going to talk about different ways of doing it, the target audience you need to talk to, and the different language.
Some of the things you should do and some of the things you
Some
shouldn't do.
do's and some don'ts.
Exactly. So one of the first most important things is that you need to have an elevator pitch about who you are, what you do, and how you can add value to a business, organization, or a team. So it may seem quite simple and something that people think they can do really easily, but it's actually something you have to spend a lot of time to understand, to make it quite simple and understandable for everyone.
Including yourself. I mean, that's the most important thing. You need to be crystal clear on what you're projecting.
Exactly. So, and when you are looking for a job or even establishing a relationship with different people within the industry, there are different types of people that you will come across. The first category we would like to talk about are HR managers or like people within recruitment.
Yeah, that's usually your first port of call. So it may not be the person that you'll be working on a day-to-day basis with, but it's the first person that you interact with to tell them what you do and what you can do.
Exactly, and the type of language that you use is very important when you talk to HR managers or people who are not necessarily specialized in the area that you're going to work within. So it's really important that you keep your conversation and your language to a really simple description of what you do, as opposed to using really technical based terminologies. So, and there are some certain things that we highly recommend that you do not use when you're talking to HR managers or anyone in general. One of the words is actually the word stuff. So when you're talking about the projects that you've done or everything that you've done, try to understand or describe what you've done as opposed to saying stuff. So I've done a lot of stuff or stuff like that. So it's one of those words that makes it very confusing for the person that you're talking to.
Because we don't know what stuff you're talking about.
What are you? Yeah, it's really challenging, and it's it might be a bit challenging at first to replace it with other words. But some words that you can utilize is project, or give an example of what you mean by stuff. And another thing that we would like to say that you shouldn't use often is the word "I do everything." That's a very confusing sentence. So when you're talking to someone, say, "So what has been your involvement, for example, with this project that you've done?" And you say, "I've done everything." So that really confuses people because they don't know what you mean by everything. So it's really important to describe and articulate what you've done and each steps that you've been involved with. Even if it is something that is very repetitive for you, it might not be for the person that is in front of you. So it's important for you to explain it. And if they already know what you might have been involved with, it's important for you to explain what you've done again, because then they will know that you have been involved. Because people practice professionalism in really different ways. So, for example, two of us may do exactly the same projects, but the steps we take are quite different. So it's important to articulate how you got to the end result. The other group of people that you might come across are business owners, general managers, or managing directors. So these are the type of people that you want to talk about the return on investment and the values you can add to the business. So it's really important that when you talk to them, show them, first of all, you have to either, whenever someone wants to hire you, as I say, you either going to be hired to save them money or to make them money. So it's important to be able to articulate how you can add that value to the team. And of course, the third group that you could be meeting with are the hiring managers who are within the people that within their team, the people that you will be working with. That's when you can use really technical terms and feel relaxed enough to get into the nitty-gritty and use acronyms or be really...
Yeah, that is true. Abbreviations. You can be more technical with those people that you know you'll be working with on a day-to-day basis. But as Houmi said, the HR manager, the GM, and a couple of other people may not know those acronyms or may not know enough detail about your position that you are going for.
Exactly.
The other thing that we wanted to talk about is saying that you said
Yes.
everything, but that can
yeah.
also come down to when we say what software do you use, and you say everything in the Adobe suite. Creative Suite.
I hear that a lot. It's like,
Yeah, me too.
What do you do? What software do you know? The whole Adobe
All of
Creative
it,
Suite.
yeah.
And there's so many different software and programs within Adobe. And when you say I know them all, then we have to actually start asking, do you know this one, and then we realize you only know 10% of it. So it's really good to mention which ones you work with and you know.
And be clear about your proficiency in each of them. You may know, because there are so many programs in there, you may be aware of them, but you may not be proficient in it. So just be honest, I am proficient in this, and I have worked in another one before, and you know, just be honest, because it depends on every single role which one you can and can't use.
Yes. And then another thing that Vanessa is going to talk about is that when you're talking about your experience, how do you phrase, explain the type of projects you worked on?
Yeah, a good starting point is to talk about a project that you have worked on, the action that you took, and the result of that action that you took. Good examples are where you have gone above and beyond your role. That is a really good example. If it was part of your everyday role that you had to do a press ad and to a certain timeline and you got it done every day, that's not really a project, an action, and a result that went above and beyond what you're capable of. We really want to hear the superstar nuggets of what you have done. And you know, as a candidate, you should have those handy so that you can discuss them with potential employers or talk about them. So they are very handy to have, along with your 1-minute elevator pitch.
Exactly, and one of the best ways you can find those projects, just think about the times that there was a problem that you had to solve within a project. What was the problem that you had? How did you approach it? What did you do? And do talk about the result, because it's important, and then show the positive outcome out of that project.
And look, I know sometimes for people it's really hard to talk about what they have done and be positive about themselves. So it's good to get that practice in and to have those things written down so that you're not worried about talking about it if somebody asks you. You are prepared.
Exactly. So, well,
there was one more point as well. I know that when I'm talking to people on the phone, presentation skills are really important. And you could say, but if you're on the phone, how do you know what presentation skills are like? Because we know when somebody is curled up on the couch and relaxed and all sitting like this, we can hear that in their voice. But if somebody is sitting straight and is prepared, they can articulate themselves so much better. So even though we can't see you over the phone, how you sit and project yourself actually does come across on the phone. So don't lie on the couch and with the dog next to you thinking that nobody's going to be able to see that. We don't see it, but we can hear it. So that is really important as well, so that you can articulate yourself and that you're present.
Have a presence. Yes, beautiful. Well, if you do, as always, if you have any specific questions or topics you would like us to cover, feel free to send us a message or email. We look forward to hearing your thoughts, and we wish you a wonderful week ahead of you.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.